So hi everyone, so we're in the Royal Foresters up the road from Ascot, part of the Oakman Group, who are our Kennet Valley sponsors, and we're having our pre-race festivities, which is a lot of fun. So you can come in, we've got our groups in here, and lots of groups of 6, socially distanced, etc. Here we go, and there we go, everyone's... Hi everyone, raise a glass to Sabuska. Hey! So here's to beating Palace Pier. So yeah, lots of excitement, and yeah, I'll tune in when I get to the racecourse a bit later. Hi everyone, so I've arrived at the track. I've got a little bit of admin to do before I go in though, because there is other racing going on aside from Ascot this week, and we've just had a jumping runner declared to run at Fosslas on Thursday, so I've just had to send out a little holding email to everyone saying the horse is declared, and sending a link to the race card, and saying please let me know about badge requests, because then I'll need, when tomorrow lunchtime, I'll need to sort out the badge request for Fosslas for Thursday. The last week I've been doing a lot of organisation in terms of sorting sort of the test and tracing and make sure everyone's up to date on the tests for Ascot this week. We've got runners each day, so I've been organising the badges with them, balloting paddock passes, etc. And filling out forms for Ascot. So there is quite a bit that goes on behind the scenes, and whilst it all seems glitz and glamour this week, I do occasionally do a bit of work. And I said mostly this spring it's been lots and lots of stable visits since since we were sort of unlocked at the end of March, doing visits of 6 until May the 17th, and then we started doing visits of 30. So gradually it has become more social, and now this is suddenly real racing returning, which is just fantastic. And looking ahead to the weekend as well, we've got plenty of runners entered up on Saturday and stuff. So again, Thursday is declarations for those. So despite Ascot going on and doing these things like brunches and stuff, I need to make sure I'm on the board to be sending out previews and making sure everyone's in the loop about what's going on, and etc., whilst making sure the brunches are organised as well for each day at Ascot. So it's all good fun, but there's a bit of organisation needed. So at the pre-parade ring, all getting quite excited. Those in the paddock have gone into the pre-parade ring and are about to go into the paddock. First loser of the day is, I thought my waistcoat might have qualified for best dressed man, and I've just been completely ignored. I feel so frustrated, but quite excited about the horse though.
I know somewhere down there, Sam, but I sort of...
Here is Busker. Looking in great shape. Yeah. Good luck, guys. Here's the shin. Really quite exciting now. Here's our team. Good luck, guys. Third, amazing. Billy, excited?
Amazing.
That's incredible. Third is like a winner.
That was a proper Group 1 performance.
The winner looked pretty good.
Yeah, he's a champion, as we know, but Sir Busker's improved from season to season, and what a brilliant run. Be very proud.
Did you think for a minute?
I thought before we got to the 2, but that's always too early to get excited. So I kept sitting, and look, he stayed on. He ran a great race.
You like the ground?
Any comments on going to the future?
Oh, yeah. He let himself down.
Yeah.
He definitely put in 100%.
Yeah. Cheers, well done. Morning everyone, looking forward to another big day's racing today. This is home. We're tenant farmers normally. Not too many thoroughbreds around here. My wife has an ex-racehorse called El Dancer, who was won plenty of hurdle races for Lucy Wadham in his day, but otherwise organic cattle and organic crops. So my alternative life is the racing, of course, and a bit more background to what I do. So I run Kennet Valley Thoroughbreds. We have 13 horses in training. Lucky enough to have a few good ones, which we really do appreciate, hence the likes of Sabuska, etc. And I also run Hot to Trot Racing. And Hot to Trot Racing races 3 groups of 6 least fillies or mares, 12 on the flat and 6 over jumps. And Hot to Trot is in action today. Get Ahead is a leased filly from great breeders in Whitstable Manor Stud. She went to the yearling sales in the autumn, but she didn't reach her reserve, so luckily we were able to lease her, and she lines up in the Queen Mary today, which is hugely exciting. And we've got a lot of people coming per my earlier post, and all looking forward to it, so I'll be in touch later on. Hi everyone, trackside, lull before the storm, after the brunch and then on to the Queen Mary. Very excited, gives you such a buzz being out here. There's not many people, but it's great. Got my much better half with me today, Clemmy.
Hi.
And anyway, very excited. So a bit behind the name of Get Ahead. It might sound a bit strange naming a horse Get Ahead. Probably sort of, you'd think, well, it's always bound to have a filly that's going to come second the whole time, but actually she's named because she hails from a family of the Gerard Lee family, and I know he was strongly advised by Alec Head, that great French breeder, Aradicene, and he named his horse a lot with the Head name in there. If you look back through the filly's pedigree, there's a lot of heads in there, so Ahead, Get Ahead, that's hence the reason behind it. So a bit of useless knowledge for you. Anyway, do cheer her on. I was a bit worried yesterday that the draw was favouring no towards the stand side, and Get Ahead's in 3, but we've got the American filly in 2, and that hopefully the American filly goes on and tows us along and we can get a toe into the race. The annoying thing is the other American filly's on the stand side, so though it would be preferred that if it'd just been pace our side, but there's pace on both sides, so hopefully it's a fair game for everyone. Would be happy with good ground run, good firm, but we don't know, so Clyde does think a lot of her, so fingers crossed. Here she is. She's got the same dream team as when we had Heartache win this race 4 years ago, Kat and Lisa, so fingers crossed. Well done, Kat. How is she? How's she doing? Well done.
No, she's brilliant.
Well done, Get Ahead.
She's brilliant.
You're a star.
She likes to keep me on my toes, that's for sure.
Back home again. What a great day. 6th in the Queen Mary. It is fantastic. Yeah, it's not winning. It's not coming 3rd, but it's fantastic. And what a run. Some cracking racing otherwise. Great to see those 2 great mares finish 1st and 2nd. Love and Audaria. That was fantastic. And anyway, beautiful evening, but it's a lull before the storm, isn't it? Because it's going to have a lot of rain tonight. And tomorrow we've got Dance Fever in the final race, the Buckingham Palace, and he's a very interesting horse, but he wouldn't want too much rain, and they are going to get an inch tonight apparently, or they could do. So onwards and upwards. And yeah, this is El Dancer, who I told you about earlier. El Dancer won at Aintree and Cheltenham in his day. Very much enjoying retirement, although he does get ridden a bit, but we had a baby in December, so he's been ridden a little bit less over the last 6 months than he perhaps would usually be, but he's a star. Anyway, see you all tomorrow, and hopefully it's not a complete deluge at Ascot.
Last to Dance Fever. Fingers crossed today. Are we hopeful? Yes.
Hi everyone, just arrived at Ascot. So pleased for Dance Fever's chance later that they only had 4 mils of rain. Ground's so important for horses, and you hear horsemen talk about it so much, and some people making a bit of a joke about it, how all the speculation of what was looking out of their windows last night, checking what's going to happen. But for Dance Fever, he's a horse with a lovely sort of flat, fluid action, and softer ground would just make him expend more energy getting through it, rather than the horse perhaps with a big round action. So that's why it's so interesting, and he's a horse we think is well treated off his rating, who's able to rate higher in due course, and the fact that we can have optimum conditions mean that hopefully he'll run to his best, and if that's good enough, then hopefully he'll be very competitive. But unfortunately in his race there's 29 runners, so it could be very hard either way. Anyway, I'm gonna clock into the racing soon, and I'm gonna have a little chat to you about handicapping from an owner's and a horseman's perspective later on. So see you in there. Hi everyone. Thankfully it's not the frantic early rush today because our runner's in the last race, but a couple of observations from race one. A lot of people talk about the draw bias. It was interesting yesterday that the consensus early on was to be drawn high was imperative, but then suddenly in the Hunt Cup, the Godolphin runner made all down the far side and quickly dispelled that. And very interesting in race one today, seeing both sides almost evenly split, showing there's very, very little draw bias, and in fact it's really down to where the pace in the race is. It's often the point debated a lot, but today I think that first race showed that almost certainly there was very little bias. Another interesting point from a breeding perspective is certain sire lines and how they handle a track. Very interesting, the first race today featured two grandsons of Kodiak, both by young sires. Our dad, the sire of the winner, and Cody Bear, the sire of the second. Kodiak is an immense source of toughness, and it's not just about ability in racing. You need to have that will to win, and the Kodiak sire line is so tough. They want to win, and I know people at the sales love to buy from that sire line because they know that even if they are lacking a bit of ability, they'll always put it in and go that extra yard for you, and that's always something you want on your side when buying a racehorse.
How are you feeling, Pauline? You get excited?
Very excited. I love Dance Fever. I loved him when he was small, when he was healing, and I love him now.
Let's hope. Fingers crossed. Are we hopeful?
We're very hopeful.
Keep your right hand side going down, please.
There he is, getting chipped before he goes in. Yeah. All horses get chipped, so to make sure the right horse is running each race.
Hi, it's a bit deflating. Horse was quite disappointing. We just had the debrief from Clive and Adam, and horse was travelling well, and just lost his action a bit, and gave him an easy time. Quite right, when they're not sort of feeling like they're going to win, give them an easy time. So anyway, there we go. He can't win, and it makes you appreciate the good times more. And the main thing is he's all right tomorrow morning. So anyway, onwards and upwards, and see you tomorrow. And I hope you appreciate the backing music. At least that's positive. Hi everyone. Depressing scenes from the Royal Foresters and Ascot. So much rain this morning and overnight. We're looking doubtful for going ahead this afternoon. They're about to call it in a minute, but it's tricky. Our horse is. He's sort of been analysing his action all morning to see whether we actually think he'll handle heavy ground. If it does go ahead, he does hit the ground quite hard, so sometimes that's an angle he might handle it, and his dam handled it a bit, and the sire, sort of some of the progeny can, but really it's a complete guessing game when the ground gets like that. And the problem with it is it was so fast yesterday and in previous days. It's been probably hard for the water to get in, so I think there's so much standing water on the track. So what will be, and in the back of my mind as well, we've got such a nice horse meant to be running today, called a quality, and there'll be plenty more days with him. So, but that said, if we do race, we probably will let him take his chance. So it's a tough one. Anyway, I'll report back when I know more, and speak soon. I think I'm about the only one with a smile on my face on the racecourse. For the first time ever on a racecourse, I am dressed appropriately. It is so miserable. It's pouring with rain. Standing water everywhere, but amazingly racing is on, which is really exciting. So onwards and upwards, we're going to enjoy the racing. Hopefully we last through the afternoon. Quality's meant to run in the last, and we'll look forward to it. So interesting, when the ground gets soft, you suddenly see the results siding towards, on pedigree, horses that are handling it. It's not rocket science if you get to know the soft ground stallions. So interesting, the first race, although Sandrine was by Bobby's Kitten, who was an American horse, he's who handled fast ground. The mare was by Pivotal, and Pivotal's a massive soft ground influence, as well as being an outstanding sire of broodmares. And then the second race, Alan Kerr by the German stallion Adler Fluke, and in general German breds absolutely love soft ground, so no coincidence to see the results happening so far. Anyway, sad I didn't back either. Sadly, another dump squib to end the week. A quality found the ground far too soft, but simple excuse. He's still a star, and he'll be a lovely horse for the future. So there we go. You win some and you lose some. Started the week with Sebaska and ended with a couple of disappointments, but that's racing, and the main thing is he's all right tomorrow morning, which I'm sure he will be. Soft ground is usually, that's not the issue in terms of usually it's safe, etc. And anyway, onwards and upwards. I said yesterday I'd chat a bit about syndication in general. Obviously we've had a bit of all in about the runners so far this week, but behind it, how things are set up. And I mean, anyone can set up a syndicate, anyone can join a syndicate. A syndicate can be any size. The ones I run, Kennet Valley Thoroughbreds, we have 16 shares, so a quarter of a quarter effectively. And we buy the horses as yearlings, which means that effectively they're ready to go off to be broken and race at 2 and 3 years old and beyond. And hot to trot racing, we lease fillies and mares. Generally breeders would definitely sell colts, but occasionally they keep the fillies to retain to breed in the future. So, and they often offer them on a lease basis to the likes of ourselves. So we effectively get a free horse. We pay the training fees and get the prize money, which usually is a great way of achieving a net loss. But we get all the fun of racing them, and that's the main thing. So it works well for us and the breeders. And we have 18 members in the syndicate that share 6 horses between them on a lease basis. So that's just the way we do it. Anyone can do whatever, but it's a great way of sharing all the fun and the camaraderie. Like you've seen in the last few days, we've been doing our brunches and getting everyone together in the paddock and sort of pre and post race festivities. It's good fun, and also you share the liability of what is an expensive hobby. So it's good fun. Obviously I'm completely biased. But the camaraderie in racing, it's so good. Getting everyone together and enjoying it all together. And sometimes even the big owners now sort of say, might have a quarter of 4 horses rather than a whole of 1. So, yeah, it's good fun. Says the person who's standing on their own in a paddock pouring of rain. So, but it's usually quite a social game, this. It was great to have you all with me last week at Ascot. A really fun week overall, and not a normal week, I should add. We actually had a winner yesterday at Newmarket. I'm sorry I wasn't tuned in. We had my daughter's christening, but Spanish Kiss won impressively at Newmarket, which is really exciting. Thankfully, 6-runner race. It's a lot easier than 28-runner cavalry charges at Royal Ascot. We had a couple other runners as well. We had a second for Hot to Trot at Lingfield, and we had a horse called Street Lightning who was a little bit disappointing at Haydock. So this coming week is a bit more normal. There's actually quite a lot going on though still. We've got 2 Hot to Trot runners tomorrow. We've got Passaria running at Windsor, who should have a good chance, and Mille Miglia running at Chepstow. And then Tuesday at Newbury, we've got our 2020 end of season lunch, which was planning to be obviously this week is meant to be the first week with no restrictions, but obviously there still are, but we're managing to carry it on with it on Tuesday, albeit on tables of 6 outside at Newbury, so that should be fun if Mother Nature plays ball. Wednesday we've got a Kennet Valley visit to Alan King, our first Alan King visit for Kennet Valley. We bought a breeze up horse for him in at Newmarket in the spring. I can't remember, as early May it was, and we'll take everyone to lunch afterwards, which is sort of kind of normal for Kennet Valley main visits. Thursday we've got a Hot to Trot visit to Clive Cox to see Get Ahead, who was obviously 6th in the Queen Mary last week, and Mille Miglia, who runs tomorrow. So probably have about 25 people at Clive's on Thursday, and then we have got a Kennet Valley visit on Saturday morning at William Knight's with a supper the night before at the Jockey Club rooms. So it's all go, to be honest. I slightly thought it was quite a quiet week and might try and take sort of an afternoon off here and there to spend with my daughter and try and be a bit normal. But actually it's pretty busy. So anyway, it's good fun, and it was great being with you this week, and probably that's over and out.